Hey there. If you've been with me for a while, especially if you've been with me for a few years, you know that my business has undergone a big change. Most recently, that change was evidenced by the change in the masthead and name of my ezine from Authentic Promotion to Simple Wisdom. Well, a good friend and colleague and longtime reader asked me recently how I navigated that change. He said, when you decided to stop doing a weekly newsletter 2 years ago, did you already have in mind this shift from Authentic Promotion to Simple Wisdom? And how much thinking went into the shift? How much planning? And I thought it might be interesting for others to know no planning went into it. I can't say no thinking went into it because I was aware that I was in the middle of a change, and I thought about it from time to time. I wondered how to articulate it. I wondered how to communicate it. I wondered when to communicate it. But essentially, the process was one of taking small actions when the way ahead was clear. A metaphor comes to mind that stood me in good stead many years ago, almost 20 years ago, when I was starting my coaching practice. I remember standing in my office at a drawing table, a work table, and feeling like I was lost in the fog. And suddenly it occurred to me that being in this fog bank was not inherently unpleasant. In fact, it felt very cozy. And so I got curious about the experience of being in a dense bank of fog. And I noticed that I could sense with my feet. I could just put out my toe and I could feel the ground in front of me. So that if, for example, I happened to be on a cliff, I could feel with my foot and tell where it was safe to step. And then I thought, I wonder what I can see. So I put my hand out in front of me and I noticed that I could see to the end of my arm. And I thought, well, if I can feel my way with my toes and I can see to the end of my arm, I have all the information I need to take one safe step. And I found that profoundly comforting. That plus the realization that the only problem with being lost in the fog was my thinking that it was a problem. And so I'm back there. I am often in the fog. I often don't know what's next. But I really trust that I can know enough when it's time to take action to act. And how do I know it's time? Because it occurs to me. That may sound really oversimplified, but it was true for me 20 years ago, and now 20 years of success later, it's still true. When we can get quiet, when we can just pay attention to what's right in front of us, we always know what to do. I hope that's helpful. I look forward to your questions and comments. Bye.